What is up, everyone? Welcome to Mechs on Deck. We've got an exciting one going today. Building a Squid60. I'm excited for it. What's up, one drunk man? Mr. Chewart himself. Mr. Mick, how you doing? The better ginger. What is up? Yeah, so we've got a Squid60 that we are building today. I'm excited. You know, this is obviously partner in crime. Chewy designed this board. Resembles the Baka, which I also have on my desk. The first iteration, some changes, which we'll show off between the two boards. I'm excited to put this together. Also using Polar Holy Pandas, which I don't actually think that I have built with this variant of the Yak pandas. So excited to get this built with them and mess around with the Heine H60. So just like last week, a bunch of firsts. Obviously, I built a squid, or not a squid. I built a Baka almost a year ago now. And now the second iteration, honoring the magnificent man himself, Mr. Squid. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's show this off. Take a gander at it. So this is the Squid60, 60% sandwich mounting style. You don't really see too often these days. Big thing about the squid, this giant weight. Look at how big that is. It's like, you know, that's another thing. I feel like we've moved away from these giant weights on small boards. Yeah, it looks great. This is like, it's a simple board, right? Like, it's meant to be simple and clean. The other thing that's really nice about this board, it's got like pseudo handles on it, which is nice. I love this side profile. I think it looks really clean. It's simple, yet nice. I like that it goes all the way to the front. It's a nice little touch. Plus, it makes it, you know, it's nice and easy. It gives you something to grab onto when you want to pick up the board. You can just get your fingers in there, pick her up. But let's take it apart and show it off. Show off all of the pieces, the parts. Plus, I got to change over these screws because this has got the Phillips head. We'll be changing these over to hex screws. First thing I'm going to do before I take it apart, though, something that the original Baka unfortunately did not have: the holes, the little guides for your bump-ons. So let's go ahead and get these guys in there, in their little sockets. Get them in their homes. Dutch Master, how you doing? The better ginger, yes. The weight is clean. The weight is very, very clean. It looks so good. How's everyone doing this Saturday? Some of you, I'm sure it's the morning still. Some of us, it's the early afternoon. Dutch Master sadly at work. Unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. Well, hopefully this helps the work day go by a little bit quicker for you. Gives you something to do. Hopefully it's not too crazy at your job today. All right, let's get this in there. All right, let's get these Phillips heads out of here. That one's too small. Snag a bigger one. It's always crazy here, but I'll stay lurking. Hell yeah. Appreciate you stopping by, Mr. Dutch Master. Hope it doesn't go too crazy for you. I'm sad that I missed streams this week. Earlier, I got some just a little bit of food poisoning, but I'm doing better now. Unfortunately, missed out on an awesome stream with Mr. Nathan Alphaman, and huge shout outs to Mr. DD Decline for filling in for me on Tuesday. And for Chewy himself for holding down the fort, for taking the reins on the streams on Tuesday and Wednesday this week while I recovered from my illness. Lumos393, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, my dude. All right. Get those long boys out of there. So this is the Easter egg that you couldn't really see in any of the renders, but was there the whole time. I didn't have Rona. I had food poisoning. I had what I told Chewy was it was Panda Wars Attack of the Orange Chicken. Connor Tech, what up? Also, Noe, KB, how you doing, my dude? But yeah, little photo of the cute boy himself, Mr. Squid. I think this looks great. It's so cute. It's nice. It's like subtle. It's not overbearing. I know both Chewy and Doodle Bob. Aloha, Ukulele Dad. How you doing? Or Abracadaniel. They wanted to do this to kind of show a little bit more of Squid in it and a little bit more of a tribute, but not have it be to where, you know, everyone had to have that. You know, maintain the outward aesthetic that was the Baka. You know, I think it's nice. Nice, the Squid60 on the weight, and then Squid himself inside. And thank you, Dutch Master. I'm feeling much, much better. I feel great. I told Chewy on Thursday when I woke up, I was like, I'm ready to take on the world. Like, you know, when you're sick and then you finally start feeling better, and then like that first day, once you feel like you're back to your old self, but you feel like you could take on the world, that was me on Thursday. So I'm feeling much, much better. But yeah, then here's your top. You've got the 4 guides that help guide it into the bottom. Helps put it together, keeps it nice and secured. It's nice because a lot of Connor, we're in the Dallas area, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. One thing that I was always not a fan of, and I know Chewy felt the same way about the board that this was heavily inspired by, which was the TX60, is that the top didn't really have anything to kind of like hold it in to the bottom. It was you had a hard time like aligning it, so you'd have sometimes where you'd put them together and it would be slightly off, like it wouldn't line up the edges between the sides or between the top and the bottom, and so that was kind of difficult to get perfect every time. And these little tabs, they make it much, much easier to get that lined up. You know, it's a lot more secured once you put it in there. And then this, of course, is your brass plate. A little bit different than the plate from the Baka. If you've watched some of our Baka streams, you'll notice that the Baka was a forced split backspace. This is not. It's open, so you could do full backspace with this. What's the mount? Top mount. This is sandwich mount. So basically, I mean, it looks like a top mount the way that it has these little tabs, but it is a sandwich mount. So basically, it is held in place by the tension between the screws on the top and the bottom. It's like, if you think of like a gasket mount, right? It's basically almost the inverse of that, in a sense of like, you know, you look at like a gasket mounted board, it would have like wings in between all the screw points that would have gasket material between them, and it's sandwiched in. This is the true sandwich mount, where it's sandwiched by the screws around the plate. You know, it's really not used. I think it's a mounting style that was popular for some time, and then it lost some popularity when a lot of people moved away from trying to do brass plates and they wanted to do other mounting styles. People like to use top mount. It changes the way the board feels, and it makes it feel a little bit unique. But it's nice. This plate is pretty. I mean, I feel like it's standard thickness, but it feels a little bit heftier, you know, obviously than some of the other brass plates that I've messed around with recently. I mean, this whole board is just like insanely heavy for how small it is. El Trotro, what up? Thank you for the follow. But yeah, I love sandwich mount. It's kind of the mount. It's the mount that I know Chewy fell in love with in keyboards. And myself as well. We both had TX60s. We both loved them. He actually had two TX60s, an HHKB and a standard top. They never released a Win keyless top, which is both Chewy and myself. This is our favorite layout, especially when it comes to a 60. I think it just looks, the way it looks, symmetrical. It looks clean. It's very aesthetically pleasing of a Win keyless top. I think it looks great, and you don't lose the functionality that you lose when you switch to like HHKB, which also has that same symmetry. But you know, you don't have your control where you need it. For both Chewy and myself, especially when we first started getting into keyboards, we used to play Counter-Strike a lot, and you need control to be able to really play that game. Obviously you have it on caps lock, but then you're making sacrifices on things like, if you use that like Chewy does for his function layer, or if you just need that in general. So yeah, Win keyless is the best in my opinion. But yeah, so let's I want to take a look at this PCB. Let's take a gander at this guy. This is an H60 by Mr. Heine Bush. Wonderful friend of the channel. Overall, fantastic dude. Does a ton of PCBs, key sets, boards. This is nice. It's a simple PCB, you know. It's a no frills PCB. You know, it's got decent support, but not too much to where it looks like Swiss cheese on the bottom. This does support Alps as well, which is nice. And it's got the JST connector. So the ability to use this in a bunch of different things is great. It also being here in America, you can get them pretty quickly, and they're not too expensive. So definitely love this PCB. It's just like super simple. So yeah, it's nice. USB-C. It's nice. No frills. I like it. Chonkster as fuck. Dude, it is. All right. So now we got that. Showed it off a little bit. Let's get some stabs going. We are doing a split backspace with this, so we only need 3 stabs, which is the best. Because you don't have to spend so much time on your stabs because, you know, you're good. Once you get those 3, you don't have to do 5, you don't have to do 4. It's 3, it's less. It's good. Get our 205 going. Still need to get some 206 grade 2. Try it out. What is everyone doing today while you're watching me build this board? Is anyone else lubing switches, building a board themselves? Or is everyone just hanging out? Just hanging out, having a good time? There's not like a ton of sports on right now. Hockey's going, if you're into hockey. I think the Pro Bowl is today or tomorrow. The Madden Pro Bowl, kind of weird. Doing a virtual Pro Bowl. Should be interesting. Dropping TX long spring 75s into some Tangies. Interesting, Streaking Bison. Let me know how that feels and how that sounds. I still haven't had a chance to really mess around with the new Tangies. Designing a case for your Maja board in AutoCAD. That is way cool. That is awesome. Hopefully that works out well for you. Cube Noob, thank you, L, for the 10 months. Appreciate that. Also, Mosh, what up? And thank you for the follow. Just put some 75 long boys in my alpacas yesterday. You really like them? Interesting. Interesting. Dang, it's been 10 months. Holy, this year has gone by, right? I feel like, were you started coming around, L, right before we did the 24-hour stream, right? I feel like you were here like a couple months before, like the beginning of last year. Dude, Roka60, thank you for the 4 tier 1 gifts. One Drunk Man, One Lap Down, Pro Baddie Ev2, or Pro Baddie V2, and Nasquez. Congratulations, you've been gifted a sub by Mr. Roka60 through the quarantine stream. Quarantined on Deck was one of my favorite streams that we did last year. It was a lot of fun. I think it obviously was really good for us. It brought a lot of people like you to the stream who had never heard of us before, but it was really cool to see something. I feel like something from the artisan community. I feel like there's minimal content out there for the artisan side from like the actual way that they do their work and explanation and picking their brains on the processes that they use that I think a lot of people are interested in but just don't get a chance to see because it's not quite as popular as, you know, just talking about key sets and keyboards. So I found Mechs on Deck through the Zap Cable video on YouTube. Dude, I was talking with Chewy the other day. We were talking about kind of updating that video. We've learned a lot since then, not only about building cables, but a lot more about doing video. Because both Chewy and myself were very new to the whole like videography stuff at that time. What's funny about that video is the way that video came out, while I think it's good and it's successful, obviously, and it's helped a lot of people, was not the initial intent of that video. That was not the initial that was not the initial intent of the video. It was meant to actually be much longer and much more, showing off John's perspective, and it was just, there was a mix of a bunch of different things that happened, and I think going back now, Chewy and I should have spent more time, like we should have done a preemptive one on our own before we filmed, because it was hours upon hours. Dude, Squid R2 win? I don't know. I think Chewy's got other things he's trying to branch out in. He doesn't want to just keep going in the same he doesn't want to beat a dead horse. He wants to branch out. He wants to move on to bigger boards. TKL win. Chewy has been loving his crown. He might be I don't know, maybe one day he'll Clax, what up? How you doing? Chewy might design a TKL at some point. He loves that crown. Talks about it all the time. Put me in on the list. Clax, I am doing well, man. I am doing well. Building a board. Which is always a pleasure. I feel like if I don't build boards, I feel like it had been a while. And obviously, I built the Matrix last weekend, but before that, it had been a hot minute since I built a board. So it's nice to be able to build a couple boards, because I kind of get withdrawals, Also, if you didn't know, as Chewy just said in chat, extras for the Squid60 will be going on raffle on the 5th of February. So be sure to join our Discord to make sure you are in the know of everything that's going to be happening surrounding those. And the release of that, because if you're interested in getting one of these, there's only a couple left, and that's going to be your best chance to get one. And in order to get the squid roll, join the Discord, and then just type in any of the chats, just type !squid, and you will get all of the squid notifications. You'll get that squid roll. And just join our Discord, because it's a fun place to hang out. Talk to other like-minded keyboard people. You can ask us questions there. You can ask other people in the community that are in that server questions there. Talk about music, movies, video games, life, coffee, whatever. What are my thoughts on drop keyboards? Well, Ollivander, you make fantastic ones, first and foremost. Second, I think the drop boards, they're great for a certain segment of people, right? If you want to dip your toes into the community, but you don't want to go in too deep, you can grab one of those. It's going to be good enough for you, right? Like, it's going to be better than what you would get if you bought like a Ducky or, something like that. But it's not going to give you the same experience as, something like this, for instance. I would say if you're willing to wait, and depending on which drop board specifically you're looking at, there's going to be other options that are going to be the same quality but less expensive, or higher quality and about the same price, right? Like you've got the Bauer Light coming some point soon from Omnitype. So it's one of those things, there's always new stuff coming out. You can always just run over to Novel Keys, pick up a NK65 entry or the aluminum edition if you really want a metal board. So I'd probably recommend something like that over any of the drop boards, especially if you're looking at like the Control, I think is the 65. But if you're looking at like a TKL, the TKLs are kind of hard. It doesn't feel like there's as many like lower priced TKL options in that range. TKL Control high profile. I mean, it's not bad. It's not going to be quite the same experience as building like obviously a higher end board. But if you're stuck on the TKL profile, there's not a huge amount of options. You know, you could maybe pick up an EO87 used. You could pick up a KBD 8X if you can get one. I'm not sure when they are going to do another another run of those. But it's more of one of those things. If you're willing to wait, another option will present itself. But who knows how long you will be waiting for another TKL option that's in that kind of that price range, that bracket of pricing. KBD 8X Mark II is open right now. See? Boom. Check that out. You will have to wait a bit to get it. It's not going to be a buy it and you get it in a couple weeks. It's going to be buy it, you get it in a couple months. But I think you will enjoy that. That'll be a better experience, maybe for a little bit more money than the drop boards. Just got mine built. Love it for work. Yeah. TKL options at a like low to mid price range have always been harder to get, just because I feel like the TKL board, because it's so much larger, it's just more expensive to get the parts to manufacture. It's super popular in the community, but not to the same level as like a 60 or 65 or even 75 now. But yeah, I'm not sure why more people haven't done it. I think it's just there's not as much of a market for it. That's why the KBD 8X was such a big release. That's why people were so excited for it, as well as like the EO87 from TX Keyboards, because they were inexpensive boards that were pretty freaking awesome, in a layout that was hard to get that low of a price for. If you hit RNG on KBD fans on a KBD 8X Mark II, you're set. Yeah, it's a super good board for the price. I feel like there's not as many runners that are trying to like run a TKL that's not super like fancy. Also, I know that I am putting so much lube in this, but I've had so many issues recently with Duroc stabs and space-bars just all of a sudden just being rattly out of nowhere. So I am going to make sure that this is like filled up for this guy so it doesn't rattle, because Holy Pandas, they've got aggressive tactility, and Duroc stabs are not the biggest fan of aggressive tactility. They like to be rattly. I've been injecting the back sides of my stabs lately with syringe. Yeah, it's my biggest gripe with the Duroc stabs. It's always the spacebar though. It's never the other keys. It's just the spacebar that tends to have that issue. So that's why I'm doing the dip and dab. Get a nice little Nice little wire. Is it because the wire is so long? Maybe. I'm not sure. I feel like the wire just likes to move around. It likes to just... Coming out of niche goods will run at a high price because people have gravitated towards smaller layouts. Exactly. Yeah, I feel like the people who want TKLs are people who've been in the community for a while that want something that's... Because TKLs have been seen as a more elegant board, a more elegant layout, right? Like TKLs, especially in the enthusiast level of the community, have always been the highest price, the lowest amount, the lowest number of releases. And so TKLs have been hard to get and super expensive. My favorite is when the wire pops out. Good time. Dude. Every time I go type on a board that has old, like 2018 GMK stabs, I'm like, man, I miss these. I miss these days. Dude, the future of custom keyboards is not in aluminum, I'm telling you right now. It's in different types of plastics. Ollivander, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, my dude. And I hope that you find a TKL that you will love and enjoy and will make you smile every day that you type on it. You're a wealth of knowledge. I don't know if a wealth of knowledge is a good statement for that, but I think I've just been here for a while, so I've seen a lot. Community's changed a lot, and we've had a lot more products, especially in the last like 2 years. It's become a lot harder to know a lot of things. Like, I didn't know that KBD 8X Mark II was running right now, because there's things running every day. So, but I'm lucky enough, both Chewy and myself are lucky enough that through this channel, we get to experience a lot of boards without having to purchase them, which is nice because you get to spend time with things that maybe we can't afford even ourselves. So we can, formulate opinions on them. We can build them, try things out on them. So that way, when you're going into buying something, if it's going to be worth it or not. Customer support MK, what up? Let's see. KBD 8X Mark II is like a huge bang for the buck board. Like, it's super approachable. Like, everything from the price point, like, to the layout, to the price point, to everything. Which is a nice looking board. The colors look really good. I loved the green one Chewy had. I thought it looked fantastic. Get in the hole. Good afternoon, my dude. What up? How is your Saturday going? Bing, 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 bing. I love the weight of the KBD 8X. It's so heavy. That it is. Wait until you get to finally go to a meetup and feel a Kepler. Your definition of heavy will be changed forever. Doing a stream later. Tokyo V4 with GMK Botanical. Nice, man. That should be a good time. I haven't seen a Tokyo 60 in forever. I know Chewy's wife had one that she really enjoyed for quite some time. I think it was a V2, if I remember correctly. Second. Correctamundo. That's like a solid board. That was one of those ones that the Tokyo 60 Came out at a great time too. The community was kind of exploding a little bit. And it's a great board for a good price. It's a little, I would say it's a little bit, maybe a little bit outdated. I haven't seen the changes that they've made, but based on like the version 1 and 2, I feel like it's a little bit outdated now, but it's still super solid for what you pay, you know? Talk about affordable too. Great color, solid construction, easy to build. Exactly. It's like no frills. I think we're going to see a comeback to that here, maybe even this year, soon. You know, no frills boards. Like, does everything need to have a crazy design? Does everything need to have a knob or like a weird like logo that also is a switch opener? Or like just get back to the basics, you know? It's nice. It's refreshing. All right. No, they don't need any of that. Tofu times. What up, Duckcom? How you doing? Let's get some of these screws. Just one. Oh, perfect. Bum, bum, bum. Dude, nothing, man. Just building this board. How is your Saturday going, Mr. Dutt? All right, I don't. Okay. Middle. There we go. I go into custom keyboards for things I didn't want. Put a knob on that list. Dude. Tell me about it. I mean, there's a time and place for all that. Like, I bought a Satisfaction 75. Like, knobs are great. Super useful. But they don't need to be on everything. You don't need to force it everywhere. Pin rails look great. Not everything needs it, you know? Not everything has to be gasket mounted. Sometimes, even like Chewy just recently built his bumper. He's like, man, this thing sounds great. It's like super simple. What are my thoughts on the SM7B? I mean, the SM7B is a fantastic mic. It is a classic in the audio industry. It's a mic that never goes out of style, right? Like, it'll always be good. It's been good since the like 70s and 80s. It's going to be good for a long time. I think it's great. You just have to have a lot of gain on it. And it needs a lot of compression. Especially if you don't have like a super deep voice, it's nice because it's kind of, if your voice is a little bit higher, like my voice tends to skew a little bit higher. It mellows that out a little bit. RE20. Oh. We have a mixture of both. Chewy has the RE20, I believe. Is XLR a giant upgrade? I think it depends on what you're plugging it into. Something I know things about the RE20. I think the mic only gets you so far. It depends on what you're plugging into, right? It's just like you can have a great switch, but if it's in a shitty keyboard, it's not gonna feel as good, right? You know, if you can get like a Go XLR Mini, that would be my go-to. Especially if you're talking about doing streaming stuff. Go XLR Mini, that is the way to go. Oh man, this is gonna be it's not difficult to put the switches in, but it's gonna be a little bit more involved. They are definitely secure. There we go. All right. Let's make sure these are good. All right. Guess I lost my enter key. Feels bad, man. Alrighty. Found the enter key. It was just hiding from me. Alright. Get some anchor switches into this. Let's go ahead and move this guy. Let's get our soldering iron plugged in. We can be ready to go. All right, let's get these guys in here. Looks like there is a small bow in the plate, which is perfectly normal, perfectly fine. But when that does happen, you want to make sure that you are getting some anchor switches into the board so that way you can get that straightened out and you don't have any issues. All right. Should be good enough. Let me do one more for this edge over here. This way. All right, as always, chat, before we get into soldering, it's always good. You got your iron, you know, you can see it. This tip, it's nice and shiny already. Not too shiny, but still shiny. Make sure you tin that up. Throw some little bit of solder on there. And then if you're using a sponge, if you're using a wire sponge, get it nice and clean. You want that tip to be clean, to make sure that all of your solder points flow nice and well. No oxidation messes that up. All right, with these, I'm going to be applying, because these are anchor switches, I'm going to be applying some significant pressure to this plate PCB combo. And make sure that these guys are soldered and dry before I release said pressure. Because we're wanting to make sure that if there's any kind of play in that plate or in the PCB, sometimes, you know, you get PCBs that are slightly bowed as well. You want to make sure that that play gets ironed out while you're soldering. Is chat busted again? Or is just no one talking? We out here. All right, cool. When chat was busted a few weeks back, that was definitely an interesting situation. Now I'm scared every time I stream that chat is just going to break again and I'm not going to know. And I'm just going to be sitting here like, oh, I guess no one cares. No one's hanging out. Clyback, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate it. Lurk/work. True. Hopefully the chat breaking doesn't ever happen again. That was a weird day. I feel like not just for me, but for all of Twitch, that was probably very strange. A platform founded on being able to interact. With PCBs like this that do support Alps, the top switch pin will take significantly more solder. So if you're doing one of these and you're like, man, that switch is taking a lot of solder, so, you know, don't be worried. This is how it is. It's a larger hole. Just make sure that you TP, not dome. That's what I like to say. You want a TP of solder, not a dome. All right. All right. Now that we got all these guys in, we can start putting the rest of the switches in the plate. And then we're ready to roll on the soldering the rest of the board. For all you builders out there, how do you solder? Are you a rows guy? Are you a columns girl? Are you a random Randy? Switch Doctor AU, what up? How are you doing? I'm Rose/random. I feel like I switch it up. I'm gonna change up Charles. I'll do one thing on one board. I'll start out doing just rows, and then I'll just randomly switch to columns. I feel like more often than not, I go rows. One thing about these switches, they are secure. Have you ever done spiral? No, I haven't. That's a baby Joshy. That is a quite the recommendation. Rows all the way. Spiral Sandy. Do normal, random, then do rows after things feel solid. I feel you. So how do you do TP, not dome? Just the amount of solder. There's a fine line between the perfect amount and too much solder. You want it to look, let's see if I can get in there. So I don't know if it'll show. It's hard to see. That one's, see how they're like a little teepee. It looks like a ball. Basically, you want to be able to see a little bit of the, like you basically want there to be a little point at the end of it. If you don't see a little point, it's just like a clump. You done something wrong. You done goofed, son. Guatemala. Thank you for the follow. I don't know if I said your name correctly, but I assumed it was like Guatemala. So what temp do I solder at? I solder at 650 degrees Fahrenheit. You could go higher than that. I recommend if you're just starting soldering, go right there. It's a nice medium temperature. Some people solder upwards of 700. It's all about what you're comfortable with. I would recommend starting out at like around 650. It's a great starting point. The higher you go, the faster you have to work. Is basically what happens. Come on. Basically, and the faster you work, especially if you're just starting out and you don't have the hang of it, the more issues you're going to run into from that. $343C. Thank you, Buyback, for the conversion. I don't know Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion off the top of my head. Osiris or Chewy today? It's Osiris. Chewy will be back streaming a build next weekend, I believe. Something 95. Listen, we're all about freedom units here, okay? What linear switches would you recommend to not break the bank that are good all around linear? Honestly, I think you can still pick up these Lavender over at Project Keyboards and Canon Keys. Lavender linears, not super expensive. These things feel super good even without being lubed. Like, these are just dry, and I was messing around with some of these last night, and they feel great. So I think Canon Key still has these in stock. Yeah, so it's like 45 bucks for 46 bucks for 70. So check them out. They're not bad. They're pretty good. I would say these are pretty solid. I think I'm gonna get a GoPro. Well, in order to form an opinion on said GoPro, what are you doing with the GoPro? Because, like, depending on what you're doing with the GoPro changes how good of it is an application. For that, swimming, beach things, definitely highly recommend a GoPro. Worth. Throw on a mount, a chest mount or a head mount, you're good to go. Do I have one? I don't. But I got one for my brother and his wife as a wedding present that they enjoy. They were able to make some videos. They went on a trip. I think it was to the Caribbean on their honeymoon. So they were able to record stuff. They went and did one of those like dolphin things. Got some pretty cool footage of that with the GoPro. So highly recommend it. Thought about getting one for rollerblading so many times. Dude, worth. Kind of expensive though. But if it's something that you're going to use a ton. RP Morrison, how you doing? How is your Saturday going? Changing brakes on a friend's car. Damn. Like the whole brake caliper and everything, or like just the pads? Is he like upgrading to like a big brake kit or something? Dun, dun. Appreciate you coming and hanging out though, while you do some real work. Pads and rotors, nice. Already contemplated doing that on my my GTI that I got. I don't know. The fact that it's like a used car that I purchased, it makes me want to like change out as many things as I can. Like change out the suspension, change out the rotors. Rotors are warped. Damn. Change out the suspension, change out pads and rotors, and just go like as fresh as possible, you know? What is the rotor? Is it the same as the calipers? No, the calipers are what hold the pad and apply the pressure. The rotor is the disc that the pad compresses onto. All right. Pin check. Let's go. Are we a perfect pin, Peter? Or are we a bent pin, Benjamin? All right, we're perfect. We're perfect. No bent pins. Let's go. Get our extra switches off to the side. And let's get to solder. They're all bent to me. Maybe I'm just looking at the TV sideways. Dude, maybe. To me, they're all good. Oh my gosh, come on, wet to the pad. You're having issues like that where the pad's the solder doesn't want to, detach from the iron and go and flow to the pad. Just leave your iron on between the pad and the pin for just a second before you flow the solder to it, and then it should drop off and flow better. What? Are you saying what to me? No, sorry. Okay. They're all bent to me. Maybe I'm just looking at the TV sideways. Oh, man. Is this my personal squid? No, it is not. This is actually for a client. Guy I've actually built a board for before. I think ironically it was one of my least favorite builds of all time. Why? It was basically like the plate and the switch were very much not compatible. It was a canoe, and it was just not a fun time. The board turned out fine. It just, I had a bunch of issues with that. It's one of those things, like, the more issues you have building a board, I feel like makes you like the board less regardless of how good it is. Right? Like, look back at DD Decline's build of the Kepler, right? The Kepler's a fantastic board, but because that board caused him so much mental anguish, I feel like he's not a fan of it anymore. But it happens. Sometimes you have a combination, like Chewy with the TX75 V2. Building that with Holy Pandas, right? It turned out great, sounded great, looked fantastic. But good Lord, if anyone ever asks him to build one of those, he is going to tell you no. Well, let me rephrase that. Because not only will he tell you no, I will tell you no. Because that plate is so dang tight and does not want to take Holy Pandas that it almost ruined our first 24-hour stream. Yeah, TX75. Far and away, Chewy's least favorite build of all time. Well, I was talking about the canoe and how that was like one of my least favorite builds. And then I brought up the TX75 and how, like, it's a board that you enjoyed. You liked the way it looked, but it was kind of ruined for you by that build. And how even if a board is really nice, if you have a rough time building it, it makes it really hard to enjoy it. It's not a real board unless you're shaving something. True. That's what happened with the canoe, Ebe Noob. It was literally shaving tiny pieces off. Multivac 000. What up? Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend so far. You guys always have the most chill music. I have used the same playlist and just added to it since we started streaming. So I like know all these songs by heart at this point. pretty bad day, but that desk mat and that key make it a lot better, to be honest. Well, you know, I'm glad I can be here to help make your day better, and I am sorry that you had a bad day. And hopefully it gets way better for you. Don't know where you're at, but if you're here in the US, you got a lot of time to make it better. And if you're somewhere else, there's always tomorrow, man. Canada, so it's still 2 p.m. Hey, that means you got a lot of time to turn this day around, man. Speaking of Canada, while I was sick this week, I finally watched a show that Chewy has been ranting and raving about for years now, it seems like. That is a Canadian classic, I feel like, at this point. That's Letterkenny. And I must say, I do enjoy me some Letterkenny. Having watched it for the past couple days pretty intensely. Still got to do some statistics homework. Dude, kind of want to go crush Sando now. Hell yeah. Watching Letterkenny, I finally understand what Lang is saying. Right? I was talking about it with Iwanai, and he is like, because apparently Riley from Letterkenny is going to be in the new Mighty Ducks movies. And it's like, can we get like at least one reference to Letterkenny? Can we get like a Ferda or like just like a classic line like snipers or something? Or get like Shorzy just as a random ref in the movie somewhere. It just makes like a comment that would be okay for a Mighty Ducks movie or TV show or whatever it is. Just get one. Just one. That would make me happy. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. But no, Letterkenny is great. And I'm sad that I spent so long not watching it when I could have been enlightened so many years sooner. All right. Jegify, what up? How are you? You having a fantastic Saturday? I hope you are. Okay. All right, boys. I think we're done. I think we have soldered every switch. Just checking to see if I missed one. What switches are those? They are Yak Polar Pandas. Polar Holy Pandas. Basically, it's just a holy panda but in a blue Yak housing. I think that guy needs a little bit. He's a little bit more love. Just a little bit more. All right. I'm getting low on the solder. Couple rings of spool left. All right, let's plug this guy in. Let's check her out, make sure she's good. Static gauge, what up? Is there a significant difference in that from the normal Holy Panda sound or feel? No, not at all. None whatsoever. This is the same switch, just a different color. Now, the New York Pandas, I believe, are 5-pin, which does in fact change the doesn't change the feel or anything, but it changes how they go in. It makes it a lot better. Oh, you can't see. Boom. So you can see Via opened up the H60 right away. Let's test everything out. All right. That's probably your function, space. All right, let's see. Oh, maybe it's not. What is this? Did I not solder it? What is that? All right. Split backspace, split right shift. Win keyless. Let's make this guy needs to be that. This guy needs to be that. And this guy needs to be, where are you? Where's the tilde? Where are you, tilde? Am I blind? Am I blind? I'm blind. Ooh, boy howdy. I think I'm blind. Oh, it's right there. All right. I don't think it has a second layer set up. Does it? It does not. All right, cool. Let me actually change this to right alt that. There we go. Cool. The more people that say boy howdy, the better. Hell yeah. All right. Everything works. Let's get it together. Let's put it together. See how she sounds. In fact, I'm going to clean up a little bit real quick. I don't need these guys anymore. I need these guys now. I don't need that. Put these back in here. What keyboard is that sitting above your desk pad? That is a Squid60, which is the first rendition of the board we're building today. And we're going to look at some of the changes, some of the differences. Aesthetically, it all looks the same. But once I get them together, we'll look at it. There we go. There's that. Ooh, a squid clone? Yeah, exactly, dude. Can't believe that Chewy copied the baka to make the squid. Like, really kind of sad that he would have to go to that lengths to do that. What an unoriginal human. I'm on the quest for the right one. He's all up. I hope Chewy's still in chat. Give me a nice what face for my comments. All right. I'll grab a different desk mat real quick. Squid60, such a ripoff of the Baka. 60, Squid ripped off Squid. True. True. Dude, these aren't velvet pants, man. These are, they're sweatpants. They're joggers, dude. They're joggers. I didn't get to choose the color, though, so it's not my fault, so don't blame me. They're not velvet, These are not velvet, dude. Come on, man. Gosh. No joke. I used to have some velvet pants and a velvet jacket when I was in, like, I think middle school. There was a store called Steve and Barry's. Kawaii 997. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. There was a store called Steve and Barry's, and they had a collection that was run by Stefan Marbury, who is a former basketball player. And he had his own line called Starbury, which he had shoes, which were $15, so they were very cheap. So I had like 6 pairs of Starburys. Even I had Ben Wallace, who played for the Detroit Pistons. He had his own pair called they were called the Big Bens. Dude. And I had a velvet Starbury get up. It was brown velvet. It was fake velvet, but it was brown velvet. That was like around the same time that, like, the Gucci velvet thing was a big deal. hype beast. Definitely not hype beast. Although maybe it was at that time. I don't know. You should watch Marbury's Netflix documentary. Does he talk about the Starbury stuff? Dude, I thought it was great. It was awesome. Like, getting shoes that were like pretty decent for $15. Like, you could have, you know, you could feel fancy. You could have both like home and away shoes. Like if you played basketball, you know, you have like home and away jerseys. You'd have a different shoe for that. He's a coach in China now, I think. He's somewhat of a legend over there. Yeah. He actually went to China after he finished playing in North America, I think. Black Squid60 looks clean. Yeah, it does. The ano on this is solid. Did I miss a screw? No, there's just 7 because Chewy's nice and gave people extra. Yeah, he won a championship in China. Good for him, man. Good for him. I'll have to check that out. Although I just canceled my Netflix recently. But I still have it until the end, like till the middle of next month. So I can still check that out. All right. It's together. Boom. It's very, very bright blue. Camera's like, what the fuck are you doing to me? All right, chat. We're going to go. It's going to look a little funky, I feel like, with the desk mat and then the other board. But we are going to do GMK Bingsu on this more because I like Bingsu and I think it'll look great on the blackboard. Yeah, camera just doesn't like focusing when it's like the brass for whatever reason. Yeah, it just freaks out. It doesn't know what to focus on. It could be this as well. Get out of there. Sorry, chat. Sorry. Should be better now. I just threw up in my mouth, got seasick. Well, Mr. Detcom, I am sorry. That sounds like more of a you problem than a me problem, though, there, bud. Camera like, what the fuck do I focus on? Exactly. Is it still happening? It's still happening. I need to get more caps on, and then it'll stop. We're going fast, boys. We're going fast. Sorry. It's a tiny backspace? Nah, dude, it's split backspace, bro. It's the best backspace. It wants to focus on the arm hairs. Dude, are you making fun of my arm hair? Catsy to cat? Come on, man. That's not nice. Now I'm self-conscious about my arm hair. Keep it by the desk mat. Way too clean though. Colors are perfect. That one it's slightly different because it is a Cerakoted board. So been working on a 7U backspace for ages. Good luck, senor. Good luck. I feel like this is going to sound really good. What would you do with a 7U backspace? How would you go about utilizing a 7U backspace? Like how would you fit that into a keyboard build? Hit backspace really easily? Like, would you have a whole row just for the backspace? Or would it just like still be over here and it's just like really long? Delete my search history. Dude, you might need that. I mean, Duckcom might need to do that. Look at his name. Above the split backspace. So basically, it's just no numero. It's just like... I feel you. I don't know how useful that would be. Board does look sick. Vertical backspace to the right of a standard 60 layout would be like a 65% with the far right row being one long vertical backspace. But do you like scoop the entire key? And how would you go about creating a stabilizer for that? Because it'd be like a 5U key. Dude, the board, this is coming together really well. It looks really good. There it is, boys and girls. The Squid60 GMK Bingsu with Polar Holy Pandas. So nice. Gimme, please. Dude, Bingsu looks so good. Dude, look at that. Side profile. That booty, though. She packing. She got the junk in the trunk. Dude, this thing's heavy. I'm actually interested. All right, so should we do a typing test first? Let's do a typing test, and then I want to This thing is heavy. I want to see if there's a difference in weight between both the Squid60 and the Baka 60. As well as show off, obviously, a little bit of differences and stuff. So let's get in close. Get in a little closer. Sorry for the shakes, people. Let's get in a little closer. All right, boys and girls. Let's get the maximum amount of the tree. You know, this is aesthetic based, you know. All right. Sounds really good. Sounds really, really good. Spacebar has something a little weird with it. I think I want to try something. So this is something, if you got a Squid60, this is something. So one of the things about sandwich mount boards, and the reason why a lot of people don't do win keyless sandwich mount, is for this reason. It's not actually the stab. So, all right, here's what we're gonna do, boys. Okay, so basically what happens is, obviously, you have here, you have some metal, and here, you've got some metal. As you can see here, there is a, see if I can show this. They tried to prevent this issue by making sure there was a gap, because if it is right on top, you're going to have a large amount of rattle. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to snag some electrical tape. Just put a little guy. Just put a little guy. Put a little guy there. That way, it can prevent that. When rattle, use lube. This is not that type of rattle. Then if you're feeling frisky, you can go a step further. I'm going to apply a smaller amount just so the way it is not visible. Or honestly, one thing that I considered using when I first built my Baka was similar, actually velvet, but those little, like the furniture, like those little velvet pads. Actually not a bad idea, to be fair. All right, now what this will do is it'll insulate basically between the two. Is there a way to stop rattle and plate mount stabs, or is it just a lost cause? And plate mount stabs, you totally can. All right, I got all my screws in there. So let me out. Let's put this there. Plate mount stabs you totally can. It just might take some time. I would just keep working at it. All right. Sorry if you just heard a weird noise. My arm just hit my microphone. All right, let's see if that gets rid of our rattle. Should. Super simple fix. If you don't have something like electrical tape around, you can use I mean, hell, you could use masking tape if you've got that. If you've got desk key films, I know people were saying Lightning did that when he had his. And the you could use a bunch of different things. Anything that's basically going to prevent the contact of the metal on metal is going to prevent that. So as you can tell, you can't, like, you get in there close, not visible at all. Can't see it. No one, only you know that that's there. Then if we give it a round 2. Well, that's more of just the spacebar. Let me get this guy off here. I like the look of the white one better. Let me see if I can... Let's see here. All right. So that's the Squid60. This spacebar, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work on it. It does have a weird thing, but that's just, I feel like that's just Duroc stabs sometimes. With Holy Pandas, they just don't. They just don't like heavy tactile switches. Like, they're too loose. Sometimes I've had it where they're where it's like fine one day and the next day it's like real wonky. So I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna get it nice and fixed up for the kind soul that let me build this before I send it out to him and make sure it's perfect for him. But that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to try to use a higher thickness of lube for stabilizers, especially for the what was I saying? I totally blanked out there. But no, I think the board looks fantastic. It feels great. It feels just as good. But let's show some differences between that and the Baka. And I want to weigh the two to see which one is the heaviest boy. Okay. Camera. Please. All right, we're gonna do this. There we go. All right, now we're stuck here. I can't move anything. But we won't have any focus issues because now it's on manual. All right. So, first and foremost, obviously, this is an anodized board. This is an anodized board, the Squid. My Baka is Cerakoted. I got this raw and had it Cerakoted in OD green to match GMK Olivia. But the largest aesthetic difference between the Baka and the Squid will be the weight. the Baka obviously says Baka60, and these are serialized because this was a 20 unit run. Chewy wanted to do this in a small run, get them serialized, everyone have their own. Basically everyone knows, we all know whose it was. If you bought one on the second, on the secondhand market, you know whose it was. But other than that, from the aesthetic, the outside, that's like the only big change. The inside, obviously, this squid has the actual squid has the squid engraving. Both of them share the same side profile, as you can see there. Still have the same front on both. Sorry for a shake. I'm having to manually focus this. You see the fronts look identical. But one thing I would like to see, what is the weight difference between the two? They're the same board, Doctor of Wombology. They're basically the same board. Small minor differences that change it. Small improvements. Oh, another one. Big thing on these two. Look at the blockers. So there was an issue with the Baka that I didn't have, that some other people who received them did have, and that is the blockers being too close and rubbing. So as you can see, this is super tight. It's super tight in all three directions. The blockers much wider on the Baka. Here, there's a lot more space. They fit snugger. I think it looks a little bit cleaner because you have even gaps throughout the entire bottom. Obviously, it looks a little bit different because I use the flipped space bar, but if it was a regular space bar, you'd see it's an even gap all the way around the sides of the board, which is something that was really important to Chewy because the TX boards, something that we both griped about was how much of a gap there was between the sides of the board and the actual keycaps. It felt like there was like a couple millimeters gap. It's much wider than what this is. This is a tight fit. It looks aesthetically pleasing. It looks nice. Yeah. So you can see blockers look much better, much cleaner on the squid than they did on the OG Baka. But I'm interested. What is these changes? What is the weight difference here between these two? Let's start off with the OG. All right, let me get it out of grams. Oops. We'll go to pounds. So the OG Baka fully built 5.19 pounds or 2,354.5 grams. The Squid60 somehow heavier at 5.239 or 2,376 grams. So that's what? Like a 20-gram difference? It's totally not what I was expecting. Because you would expect that because the Baka doesn't have the inside milled out the same way as the squid does, that this one, the squid, would be much lighter. Not much lighter, but slightly lighter. So interesting. 20 grams heavier on the squid over the OG Baka. Which, just for reference, we'll grab an iron, which is this is a 65%, also with a brass weight. Brass weight, brass plate. What was that? 200 grams less? 270 grams less, almost. Damn. Dang. Squid's a chonker. Just like the boy that he's named after. The board is named after. It's a chunk and a half of a keyboard.
Takoyaki rectangle.
Takoyaki rectangle. Thank you, Kimchi Jody Boy, for the tier 1 for 7 months. Appreciate that, my dude. So this is going to be really weird. I'm a big fan of Overwatch. I watch professional Overwatch. There is a professional player who is a tank player who plays mainly Reinhardt, who's named Takoyaki, and that instantly made me think of him. But I know you mean Takoyaki, as in, I think that's squid. And then rectangle. But yeah, it's a thick boy. This is a thick boy. Oops. I'm gonna accidentally click my mouse here and end stream by accident. All right, guys. So that has answered the question. Is squid heavier than the Baka? Slightly. Only slightly. 20 grams separates the squid and the Baka. Surprisingly enough, the squid is heavier than the older brother, the Baka. Both are fantastic boards. I will say again that this board is, it's like coming back home. It's like a classic, right? It's like a mac and cheese, dude. It's something that's not, it's no frills, but it's always good. You know, it's just you just get it and you know what it's going to give you. It's going to surprise you. You're going to be like, man, I missed this. So shout outs to Chewy for making this again, for letting the people have it. And again, let me see if my camera wants to be able to autofocus again. Yeah, I mean, this, you can't go wrong with something like this. Sandwich mount, 60%, fat brass weight, fat brass plate, wind keyless, looks clean, sounds great, feels fantastic, stiff as a board. But if that's what you're into, it's gonna keep you nice and pleased. So, man, one thing that always gets me about Holy Pandas is the stem wobble. Gosh. Jameson, one, thank you. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. The extras for this board are going up on the 5th. Please check us out on our Discord. Plug this guy in so I have a keyboard. Check out our Discord. If you are interested in getting your own Squid60, there will be a few of them coming up on the 5th of February. So that is just a few days from now. What is that, Friday? Yeah, next Friday, the raffle will be happening. What type of switches are they? Welcome from Bolivia. Appreciate you stopping by. These are polar holy pandas. Basically just a holy panda with a polar panda housing. You don't have to apologize for your English, man. Understand how it goes. Yeah, there will be a raffle for these. Information is in our Discord. Type !squid when you join our Discord and you will get the role that will get you pings for everything that's happening for this. Again, extras are on the 5th of February, so next Friday. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming and hanging out with me today. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Omnitype site. That link is still not working correctly yet, but it is coming soon as Omnitype finishes up the rebranding. But check over on omnitype.com. Just omnitype.com. You can learn about why they changed the name, and you can read the article that Garrett put together. Project Keyboard. Head on over to mechsondeck.project.link. They got some cool stuff going on. GMK Stealth is now done, but you can get some pre-orders for some GMK sets that have run previously, like GMK Noir from good friend of the channel, Miss Apiary Keyboards, GMK Dolch Round R5, not Round 5, R5, as well as GMK Sumi, which this desk mat that you're seeing underneath these keyboards is from. And then, of course, Canon Keys. Head on over to canonkeys.com/mechsondeck. I believe Shan Shui and Cat Crusader are ending soon. It's either today or tomorrow are the last days. So if you're interested in those, as well as if you like the style of this desk mat, the Shan Shui desk mat is similar, but a lot more going on, and I think they look beautiful. I love the art style of Shan Shui. I think it looks great, as well as the set has some pretty fantastic, like the Rama caps look great. Excuse me, as well as the novelties. So check that out over at canonkeys.com/mechsondeck. And then, of course, our partners. Check out Zap Cables. If you like the cable that I'm using here on stream, this is fancy, right? Nice little detachable, black and gold. We're keeping it fancy. You can get yourself something like this. You can pick up a DIY kit over at zapcables.com, or if they got something in stock that you like, pick it up. They got desk mats and whatnot over there as well. Sign up for Type Beast. There is some news coming out from Type Beast here in the next couple weeks that you're going to want to be following Type Beast for. So go on over to typebia.st. Sign up for their new newsletter because they've got some fire coming out in the next couple days. So keep your ear to the ground. Sign up. SmithRune.com. Good buddies over at Smith & Rune, runners of the Iron 165, of the Iron 180. They have teased the Iron 165 2, or Iron 265, sorry, in their Discord. More info on that will be coming soon. But check out SmithRune.com. Pick up some apparel. Pick up some accessories they got. You can get a cafe mug over there. Support our boy Langlandia as well. And I know Chewy always wants to hype up the sweatpants. He's got a pair. He loves them. Pick yourself up some joggers from over at SmithRune.com. Now, who are we going to host? Who is live? Let's see. Who can we spread the keyboard love over to? Rubber duckies. Okay. Velvet joggers winning. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's host Dodo. He has been gone for a minute. He hasn't been streaming much recently. So let's give Mr. Dodo a fat raid. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you for coming and hanging out and watching me build this beautiful board. We will be back on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. It'll be myself and Mr. Chewy, the designer of this board. We'll be hanging out, talking keyboards, talking things in the community. And then Wednesday, we will be back with a special guest. Get tuned into our Discord there, the link below, to know who's going to be coming and joining us next week. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in and have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.